You have reached the COVID-19 baseball emergency line. How may I help you?
Hello. I'm calling about 4 players I've seen here in baseball who have the COVID-19 and wondered what I should be doing with the upcoming game.
Have you spoken to all the ball players and asked them if they want to play or not?
Now, that's a great idea. I haven't asked them yet what they felt about the game. So, should I let them decide? Hello? Hello, are you there?
No?
So I called the very next day as things had changed.
You have reached the COVID-19 baseball emergency line.
Yes, hello. I called yesterday about 4 of the ball players who had the COVID-19. And today, something else happened. We're now up to 11 players, trying to figure out what we should be doing next.
Have you spoken with the commissioner yet?
Yeah, I heard some of his guidance on that. Sounds like things are going to be okay. All the protocols in place, and we expected some positivity. And that's just what we got. Positive results. What shall we do now? Welcome to Baseball Biz. I'm your host, Mark Corbett, and thanks again for joining us. It's been opening day week, and a lot's going on. In the era of COVID-19, some phone calls are going to be made trying to find out what to do as we discover players who are experiencing COVID-19. How does that impact the game? How does that impact the schedule? How can we see a World Series with this? Not sure yet. I wasn't able to get any answers on that phony baloney call. One of the first things I think we all need to address, and that is the safety of the players, the coaches, everyone involved. And as we were talking there earlier, we saw that there was a growth in the number of players for the poor Marlins who are experiencing COVID-19. Now that number has increased up to 17 of the folks on their traveling group have COVID-19. That has definitely impacted the game and also the safety concerns of many of the management and players. Let's take a look at what Davey Martinez, manager of the Nationals, had to say. Davey's main remarks began with, "My level of concern went from about an 8 to a 12. It hits home now that you've seen half a team affected and go from one city to another." A little bit more in depth of his remarks, he said, "I've got friends on that Miami team," Martinez says. "It really stinks. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. To see those guys put out like that, it's not good for them. It's not good for anybody. I've got guys in our clubhouse that are really concerned as well. For me, this is my family, and I worry about these guys. I worry about everybody around us. I don't want anybody to get sick. So this is definitely a big concern. I can't say that I'm not thinking about it because I am. This morning I woke up and had all these text messages and talked to other managers. Definitely a level of concern. With that being said, we've got to go out there today and focus on playing the Toronto Blue Jays. Put this behind us, and hopefully this gets resolved." Now, you got to remember that Davey Martinez, he's got a health condition. Last September, he had a cardiac catheterization. That's something he's concerned with. When they asked him a little more about his health, he says, "You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm scared. I really am. I go from here, home, back here every day, and that's all I do. I wash my hands 47 times a day, probably 99 times a day. Wear my mask everywhere I go. There's that concern right now. You don't know because of my heart condition what happens to me if I do get out. So I've got to be extra careful. That being said, sometimes I tend to put myself aside and tend to worry about other people more than me. I think that's why I'm here, because I worry about those guys before I put myself first." That's a quote from Davey Martinez. I got to tell you what, he has to be one of my favorite people in baseball. He puts himself second. He makes sure if he sees a situation, he takes care of other folks first. The other is, last year, the Nationals, his team as a manager, won the World Series. But he only had 50 games in the beginning And as manager, he had only won 19 of those games. So there you are. You got 31 games that you've lost and 19 that you've won. Everybody's crying his name, ready to put him on the chopping block. Thankfully, that didn't happen. He came back with that team, won the World Series, and made a difference for all of us. I was excited about it. If I was going to follow anyone right now, it would be Davey Martinez. So that's one bit of knowledge. And he's calling out, in a sense, for folks to be safe about this, they have to think not just about themselves. And I think we all can reflect on that about wearing masks. So let me raise that little flag up for everybody too. So make sure you wear a mask, not just to protect yourself, but more importantly also to protect those around you. You may have some coaches, managers, other players who have health conditions, and they could be severely impacted by this. So again, kudos to Davey Martinez for his kind words, or at least for his instructional words on this topic. So where else can we look? Some people say the whole "I told you so" is not the way to go. And David Price did a little bit of that, but I think it's still worth bringing to everyone's attention what David had to say in a recent tweet. He says, now we really get to see if MLB is going to put players' health first. Remember when Manfred said players' health was paramount? Part of the reason I'm at home right now is because players' health wasn't being put first. I can see that hasn't changed. And that's David's tweet on July 27th. I think that was after Rob Manfred came out on the MLB network and had to say, no, it's not a nightmare. Last night with the Dodgers playing the Astros, we all knew there was going to be a little tension there. A little bench clearing after some balls that seemed intentionally being thrown at the Astros. Not a part of the game I like, and not surprisingly that the teams cleared the benches. There were no fisticuffs and that sort of thing, but a lot of close proximity. I felt that that should never be a part of baseball, trying to injure another player. I understand sending a message, but that's not the way to do it. Yes, the Dodgers probably didn't win the 2017 World Series due to the measures taken by the Astros to cheat. I understand and I respect the Dodgers' pain, but that's not the way to go about it. Another incident, the Rays the other day. Kevin Keirmaier, he's out there playing, and lo and behold, in the 10th inning, Kevin had a walk-off. Great, exciting moment. So he was able to bring in the runs that closed the game in that 10th inning. That's to help move this game along, and especially these days where we're going to have doubleheaders and more people playing. Kevin said it was because after he hit that ball, after he came in excited about winning the game with a walk-off in the 10th inning, he said, it was a heat-of-the-moment thing for me, Keirmaier said, because he went up and he hugged all these folks. He was excited about it. And Kevin continued to say, I don't regret it one bit. I really don't. I knew what I was doing. I'm one of these guys where I'm trying to do everything in my power to keep myself motivated and the others around me. And I want everyone to always remember how much fun is winning. Kevin, I think it's great you want to remind people how much fun is winning. You really need to be considering the safety of everyone first. I know a lot of fans have already reached back out to you to say they want you to stay safe. So, Kevin, just a note, please take care. So what's the fallout? Well, after Miami had completed the game with Philadelphia, they did not return home. They had to make sure people were tested and figure out what the next steps were going to be. Now imagine you're the Yankees, and you're ready to come into Philadelphia to play them there in their home field, but guess what? You're going to be going into a visitor's locker room that Miami had just been at. Are you comfy? Do you want your players to be safe? Yeah, that isn't going to happen. So that stopped. They didn't go. They pretty much postponed that. So what are we looking at now? How has that impacted everything? Well, for one, the Marlins won't be playing again until next Monday. The Phillies, they won't be playing again until Friday because they've been getting tested for COVID-19 as well. I think at this point there hasn't been any positive results, but they're also waiting, I think, for a few more to return. The Yankees will now be playing the Orioles Wednesday and Thursdays, and Nationals will be off this weekend because they would have been playing the Marlins. So that's a heck of a mix-up, and I'm not sure that our good friends at MLB have a plan in place as far as how this will affect a 60-game season. How are they going to move all the chess pieces around? What will they do if one team or more have been so much subjected to COVID-19 that they're really not part of the equation? It has not really been presented to the community or the media at large if there was an exit strategy for this type of situation. Everything I've seen is that they've had systems set up for safety protocols, but not necessarily a plan for an exit strategy. I tell you what, I don't know. I hope the season can continue, but I want to make sure that the safety of the players and everybody they interact with, their families, stay safe first. So I plead with all of you and with MLB to be quick and decisive on the safety of your players and wish everyone the best. I'm Mark Corbett. This is Baseball Biz, the COVID-19 edition. And I want to apologize to Mr. Brandon Noway, who was supposed to also be on this call. But Brandon, unfortunately, I could not get all of our technical issues resolved. So hopefully we'll have Brandon back sometime soon. So again, I'm Mark Corbett, and you've been listening to Baseball Biz. We want to thank everybody out there, all of our supporters and all of our listeners, and hope to hear from you soon. You can always reach us on Twitter at @TheBaseballBiz. Thanks again, everybody.